Hi guys, welcome back to my channel of an Everyday Life on Aspie. If you're following me and you're new to my channel, I welcome you all. I'm Aspie. I'm all about creating mental health and awareness and showing my life stories with Asperger's syndrome and the like, along with tips and advice along the way to your general health and mental health. So if you guys haven't been with me for a while and you're new to my channel, I hope that some of this will be educating you all, motivating you all, and hopefully we can learn from each other while I'm advocating for you all in the way of autism and awareness or whatever it may be. And if you're into some of these, feel free to subscribe, because I do these hopefully on the daily, as well as maybe shortening it down to 3 days a week. So while I've been out of action, obviously I've been sharing one of the grounding topics in my Autism and series, and these ones are obviously the Autism and Employment series, obviously, and some of this is really important to me at the moment of what I'm sharing with you all. So especially in the form of the workplace bullying, because obviously many of us will encounter that one way or another, of being bullied or what have you, and that we sometimes always hope and dream that we aren't always the victim or target, shall we say, but then again we usually are for some apparent reason within circle, because as I said in one of my pieces, that majority of us autistics obviously stick out like a sore thumb. We're weird, we're different obviously, and people don't like people being different, do they? Obviously for the sake of it, and no matter what the differences are, based on our speech, maybe based on maybe we can't communicate it or whatever it may be, that sometimes we tend to question to the whys and why is it happening to us and whatnot, instead of just focusing on challenging ourselves and rising above the bullies and stuff. Unfortunately, as we know, workplace bullies are obviously a common problem, as well as in school, as well as anywhere we encounter pretty much, and we will eventually face. And it's really sad, because obviously, as I said, there are many reasons why bullies tend to bully. So, you know, I'll link in the description below of that one part of the series that I did in this series if you want to do this, watch this. Unlike the playground bullying, however, you know, in schools or whatever, of the playground bullies that will often resort to fist fights and whatnot, as well as the name calling or whatever, how horrendous it is in our everyday life of when we're getting bullied. Mine was almost just that, you know, with the fist, as well as all the name calling, name shaming and everything else, while, you know, moving from a different place pretty much. The workplace bullies, however, on the other hand, resort to generally as words and actions, and some of that just you know, to scare the targets one way or another, regardless where they're at in their life and stuff, trying to make us insecure. So I'm here today obviously to hopefully give you some tips and advice from a friendly Aspie to another, to let you know on some of this. So bear with me, some of it will be based on my life experiences, as well as just my food for thought and knowledge, and hopefully maybe you can take some of these on board. So tip number one is understand that bullies first test the waters, or trying to test our boundary line for how far they can push us, regardless to what they say and do, to provoke a reaction. You know, we should respond to the bully with confidence regardless, even though raising above them and just maybe ignore them is the best way to resolve it all and whatnot. And sometimes in saying this, that, you know, hopefully they'll get sick and tired of us if we choose to ignore them. Number two, as I said, building a support network. This one is a real crucial one, because obviously if we don't build a support network around us, be it family, friends or whoever, obviously bullies tend to pick on us when we're less in the vulnerable state, obviously, and isolate us to the point of no return, and try to separate us basically from people. And they may also go to the extremity of maybe causing a division to our family members and whatnot, and try to just, you know, cause up a stir regardless what it may be. Number three, if need be, if you can, it doesn't have to be to the extreme though, carry a notepad and pen, write down the events of what was happening and stuff. Or if you've forgot a phone, maybe just place it in your pocket silently and put it on a record button. You don't have to have it as a video thing, obviously, due to maybe invading their privacy, but you could have it in your pocket and just slightly record it that way. If you can't, you know, recall the terms of events, just tap into everything that has been said and done, the date, time, what was said and whatnot. Just to be aware though, in this one though, is if you raise this matter to the management team or whoever at the time, you're most likely to be accused for misconduct or even just unprofessional behaviour of, you know, invading that person's privacy, whoever it may be, even though you may want, you know, to try and collect some evidence if it goes to the extremity of certain things. Number 4, consider leaving. Regarding if it is a positive decision or not, however, of the outcome in terms of events, it's for your own good, maybe your own sanity, to keep yourself sane, to maybe leave the work you were with. But you know, even though it wasn't in your own choosing or making, in which you have no control over, obviously, because obviously certain things we don't have control over when it comes to things. So as I said before, in some cases we should choose to walk away from the bully or whatever is the best thing to do, as this shows that you're gaining more power and control and not going to lose your sanity over, you know, a sleepless nights. If forced to leave and basically leave work due to this ongoing continuation of the workplace bullying, basically you could ask your your hiring manager or whoever to write out a resignation letter for you and to the reason why you left the, you know, job force, basically, and just tell them to put it due to bullying, maybe, nothing more, nothing less. But also, in saying this, keep professional advice outside of that before you're signing anything, so that you know what you're getting in for this too. Number 5, criticisms and allegations. These are supposedly obviously about you and your performance, which sometimes is just, you know, again, your own truth. Stand up for your own truth, you know, your truth, obviously, regardless what it may be, you know, and in saying this, that hopefully, you know the truth of it all, because obviously, you know, you're loving the story, obviously, when you're going through this, you know. Number 6, do your best work. What I mean here is, obviously, when it comes down to it, you know, we should be able to just perform well regardless of what's going down in the workplace when we are getting bullied by that bully or bullies, and just, you know, try not to prove too much how we perform better than them in a way, but sometimes we can be threats because of how our, you know, traits are, that we're, you know, hard workers. We seem to, you know, absorb every information we can get and whatever else it may be. Number 7, don't allow the bully to isolate you. This just comes in hand of what I've just mentioned earlier in the piece, basically, when it comes down to getting a support network with you. Number 2, so that rolls into that. Number 8, don't forever blame yourself. When something like this happens, don't just acknowledge this isn't about you, it's about the bully. Obviously, they've got problems of their own and they're insecure, jealous and whatnot. Just don't forever lose your confidence over it as well, over the bully, because obviously that's what the bullies like to see, us falling all the time and just not picking ourselves up regardless what it may be. Number 9, don't expect to change the bully. I have 9 times out of 10, when I've been the target of bullying, prayed and hoped that something good will happen out of the bully, you know, hopefully that they will change. Sometimes some of them did change, some of them didn't. Till to this day, some of them are still doing their normal casual thing anyway, to try and, you know, tie me back or down by just giving me a hard day's worth of things. Change takes time, however, though, just to bear in mind, and it is difficult for some of us. We've got no control over the issue, regardless what it may be, he says, so therefore, you know, it's up to them to make that stand of basically that change, you know. You've got no control over the willingness to accept that they can or may have a problem, because obviously they need to acknowledge that they're the problem, they've got the problems, and they need to make the stand of basically deciding do they want to change or whatever else. Again, it's up to them. Number 10, don't get too emotional. Easy said and done, I know, for some of us, the Aspies, maybe he'd say, you know, trying to stay calm and rational about the everyday situation while you're being faced by the bully, you know. Try not to react too much to the bully, because that's what they want, obviously, as I said before, a reaction. Number 11, educate yourself. Learning everything about bullying, the policies at work, if you're working, basically inappropriate, and the inappropriate behaviours that you shouldn't be tolerating in the workforce. The more you know about this, the more successful you become to being able to solve the problem and being able to just rise above this. Number 12, evaluate the situation. This is important to trust your own instincts, obviously. Ask yourself some of the questions like, the ones around you, others are afraid of that form of bully too. Do they have a reputation for this at work, etc., etc. 13, follow grievances procedures. But to be aware on this one, though, of these procedures can be biased in favour of the management team as well as the bully. However, so therefore, you know, they might recommend that. And what I said before, obviously with the bully, they'll, you know, up their pay or give them some form of, you know, praise or whatever it may be, just to keep them on the hush-hush so that they don't look like the bad person, obviously, of the management team, of what they're doing for the business or wherever you're working at. 14, get counselling. It's important for us to stay sane, as I said, obviously, and just talk it out would be nice. You know, finding someone who we can trust and just talk it out is good, because obviously then we can hopefully manage the bullying in our own strength and stride, regardless what it may be. Number 15 is, if threatened physically or verbally, however, report to the employer as well as to the police so that they know what's going on, and when the police knows, hopefully they can get a protection order if it succumbs to that. And in saying this, basically on number 16, depending on the above situation as mentioned, if threatened physically or verbally, how much damage is done, you can get a lawsuit or, as I said, protection order. 17, seek advice from a trusted mentor. Obviously, it's important for us to actually find someone we can talk to so that we just don't suffer in silence. We need to, you know, speak our minds one way or another, regardless what it may be, and I believe that no matter what, that it is important, sort of thing. Number 18 is standing up to the bully. What I mean here is you don't verbally attack them to go down to their level. If you have to, you can challenge them of the opposite effect if you know how to go about it, you know, of the reverse psychology on them, sort of thing. But also bear in mind, it might come back twofold and to us of a negative impact. Number 19, understanding the bully's objective is having a good time at your own expense. Try and ignore the bully. No reaction on your terms equates to no fun for them to keep continuing the bullying. So this quickly ends basically the last part of my Autism Employment series of the workplace bullying. Smash the like, comment below if you've been bullied and how you dealt with it in your everyday life at work and whatnot. Did I miss any tips that needed to be shared? If so, feel free to add those below as well. Feel free to also share these videos around to family and friends, because I know and believe strongly that someone will need to hear about this. As I said, follow me on my social media sites as well as subscribing if you haven't done so already, as well as saying this. As I said, I do this on the daily, usually Monday to Friday, all 3 days a week, depending on my schedule, obviously. Feel free to also, if you have decided to join me on the bandwagon to be my fan bam, to also turn on the notification bell so you can keep up to date with what I've been up to, regardless. So without further ado, guys, thanks for your support, thanks for watching, do what I love, do. Until next time, Aspie signing out, and I'll see you again soon. Ciao for now.